Welcome, everyone. Thank you for attending the Community-Led Medicine Buddha. We will I talk a few minutes, as is our kind of routine, to give people time to join and get settled. And then I'll lead some chanting. We'll do prayer requests, more chanting, and then we'll close with Shanti Diva's prayer. And so Eric, who's tech hosting, thank you very much, Eric, will post a link to the prayer request in the chat document. So my name is Sharon Hill. I'm sure all of you recognize that I am not Lama Rod, but I'll be filling in as community meditation leader for this session. And Eric, for some reason, the admit is showing up on my screen to let people in.
That's because you're co-host, but
okay, I can ignore that.
The waiting room, so that shouldn't happen anymore. But
okay.
you let me know if it's bothering you.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that at least you were seeing it also. And so for those of you who are already present, my name is Sharon Hill. I think I said that already. And I am a community member, just like all of you. But I'm a community member who volunteered to sit in the big chair in Lama Rod's absence and take us through our meditation routine. And like many of you, I am stepping into this chair and stepping into this space from the hustle and bustle of my day and my life, and all the things that entails. Here in the US, it's Memorial Day, so many people who work 40-hour-a-week jobs or 5-day-a-week jobs are on holiday, and it's an unusual holiday for me because it's time set aside to honor those who died in military service defending our country. And so I have mixed feelings about war, but I have generous feelings about service. And I believe that the men and women who enter into service, even for the purpose of war and violence, have positive intentions. And I do honor them and honor their families and the sacrifice of those families and those people who have given the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Personally, it's also the fourth anniversary of my father's death. And those of you who have done the math realize that 4 years ago, it was 2020. And in May, George Floyd was murdered the same week that my father died. And personally, my mother was in care in a nursing home. It was COVID, so she wasn't allowed to have visitors. My dad was in a memory care unit when he passed, also during COVID, but because he was under hospice, he would have been allowed visitors, but he was on quarantine for being admitted to a new facility. And we didn't have to honor their quarantine policies, but we did and didn't visit for the first 15 days. And he died the night of the 15th day. So we didn't visit him that last week. So the last time I had seen him was through the window of his room during COVID. And so the world was dealing with kind of the reality of our racial situation here in the United States due to George Floyd's murder. My sister was going through a bone marrow transplant because she had multiple myeloma, and so it was a very intense year for me. And so this day brings back all of those memories. But that was also the impetus for me finding Medicine Buddha because I was my coping skills were stretched, and I think I think highly of my coping skills. I usually I'm a person who it has a good handle on life, and I wasn't doing well with COVID, with George Floyd's murder, with all that entailed. And I knew if I wasn't doing well, that other people were not doing well either. And there had to be resources out there to support us. And someone recommended Love and Rage. When I finished reading that book, I was not satisfied. And I was not satisfied in the I want more kind of way. So I went online. It was 6 o'clock on a Monday, and I found Lama Rod's website, and he was having Medicine Buddha at 7 o'clock that very night. And I logged on, despite the fact that I hadn't eaten all day, and I was in this little town called Yanceyville, and I knew that everything closed at 9 o'clock, and I had no food in the house. But I thought, oh, it says it's only an hour, so I'm going to log into Medicine Buddha. That was the night that Lama Rod went on a 2.5 hour rant about the Matrix. And and I was like, my people, I found my people because I love the Matrix. And that made so much sense to me and just nurtured me on so many levels, and, but not, not physically with food. So I went to bed hungry that night, but my soul was satisfied. And I say that to say that, life keeps lifing, and we keep showing up. So today was not as intense as that day 4 years ago, um, when my father died. But today had its own, demands and challenges. And I'm sure you are all up against various things and situations in your life. And you've come to this place where you can rest. You've dedicated this time, and unlike Lama Rod, I'm not going to go on a 2.5 hour rant. And so we will keep it to an hour. But for this hour, let yourself be fully present, not with me, but with yourself and with Medicine Buddha. Let your body relax, let your shoulders drop, let your jaw rest, let your face relax or smile. Smiling for me is often more restful than just having a slack face. But whatever is most comfortable for you, just check in with your body and see, what it needs. And if what it needs is some tea, take a moment and, go get some tea. There's this is a time for care for yourself, care for the community, and care for the world. And part of our getting free is learning to care for ourselves and to accept care. So we have, this opportunity to be present with ourselves and with each other in a compassionate, nurturing, and supportive way. And I invite you to take advantage of that. So breathe, maybe take a few deep breaths. If you inhale deeply and then let it out slowly so that the exhale is longer than the inhale, it signals your body and your nervous system that to relax. And so that's one way we can use the breath to communicate to our body, mind, spirit system that we are safe and it's okay to rest. And in our Western culture, we are often rushing around, breathing shallow and breathing rapidly, which signals our body that there's a reason to be anxious. So we can take advantage of this time for the next hour together to just let go of that expectation and to breathe at whatever rate is comfortable and peaceful for our bodies. And also to offer some grace to ourselves for our thoughts, our expectations, our decisions, and any judgments we might be holding toward ourselves. I'm often holding judgments of not enough. I was talking to Eric before we let everyone in about moving. And I have judgments about the fact that I've been moving for 4 years. You know, my parents died 4 years ago, and I've been moving into the house they left me for 4 years, and I haven't finished yet. And so I have to remind myself that I'm not on anybody's timeline, and it doesn't always feel that way. So if there are things that you are, shoulds that you're holding over yourself, um, try to let go of some of it. I'm not going to say get rid of all of it in one deep breath and one exhale, but if you can just loosen it a little and say, I am doing what I can. I don't always do the best I can do in everything. That's an unreasonable expectation. Perfection is not the goal. And life has very few rigid rules. Gravity, pretty rigid, but short of those type of things, most of I always say most of my wounds are self-inflicted. The judgments I make, the rules that I have, I make them. And yes, I learned some from my culture. I learned some from my family. Yeah, yeah. Um, when I had jobs, there were rules from the organization and the job. But when I've examined those, most of those were things that I was minimally agreeing to and often making up for myself. Like, the rule about moving. They're definitely, I'm not accountable to anyone except myself about moving. I'm, I have, I'm blessed and, made some good choices. And so I own the house I'm sitting in and I own the house I'm moving into. And it's just a matter um, time and allowing myself the grace to go at a pace that works for me. So I was telling Eric that I showed up to tonight without any topic and just stepping into the space and inviting myself to be present with you and inviting you to be present in the space as we um, share this time together and and with the intention of getting free and supporting others in getting free. And that's my intention in everything I do in life. And it's our intention here in Medicine Buddha to get free. the I'm sure I haven't looked at the chat, but I'm sure that Eric has posted, the link to the prayer request. And Eric, feel free to post any other information. I know you have some documents that you often post around. And any Donna tonight, I request go to Lama Rod. I like everybody, I of course could use the money, but I would rather it go to Lama Rod and support this community than benefit me personally in any way. Because that's not why I do this. So if you have prayer requests, put them on the prayer request document. I'm not able to attend to the chat and be present in the space in the way that I want to be present. So that's how I support that. And so let's just start with some breathing together. And I'm going to ask that you take 3 of those nice, long, deep breaths with me and let it out just as slowly as you comfortably can as we let ourselves to be present in our body. So just bring your attention to your breath and inhale and exhale. And again. And if you haven't yet, once more. And we usually use the same 2 mantras here each week. And I'm going to ask Eric to go ahead and post up. He's so good. He's already posted the first mantra, the translation of which is Medicine Buddha, I pray that you know and look upon me now. And Lama Rod once described this as like a child pulling on his mother's clothes for attention. And that's how I think of myself when I chant this mantra to Medicine Buddha. So we'll start with one long Om and then some chanting of the first mantra, Om Minla Sangye Kino Soha. So deep breath in and just let that Om resonate through your body and feel the vibration. And as you're doing that, it may be helpful to visualize first sitting across from Medicine Buddha and seeing, his blue visage and him present in your space. And then letting that energy move into your body so that you and Medicine Buddha are one. And then into your heart space so that Medicine Buddha is residing in your heart. And if that sounds too complicated and too hard, just breathe in the energy of Medicine Buddha on each in-breath as we chant together. So starting with Om. Om Minla Sangye Kino Soha. Om Minla Sangye Kino Soha. Om Minla Sangye Kino Soha. You can continue to chant Om Minla Sangye Kino at your own pace as you just let the energy of Medicine Buddha be present in the space around you and in your body. And I'm going to chant it 3 more times. And you can chant at your own pace. That's the beauty of Zoom. And if you just want to listen to the vibration of the syllables and let it move through you, do what works for you. Om Minla Sange Kino Soha. Om Minla Sange Kino Soha. Om Minla Sange Kino Soha. And the Kino in the translation says, I pray that you know and look upon me. But it's, to me, it means more than that. It means that you see me, that you attend to me, that you focus on me. So we're going to chant, I'm going to chant that 3 more times and just feel Medicine Buddha's attention just laser focused on you and with you personally and individually. Om Binla Sange Kino Soha. Om Binla Sange Kino Soha. Om Minla Sange Kino Soha. And Eric, you can put up the next mantra. And now that we are conscious of the attention of Medicine Buddha, who is always with us and always focused on us, it's us who need to be called into the consciousness of Medicine Buddha's presence. So we're not so much calling Medicine Buddha as we're reminding ourselves that Medicine Buddha is present. And we continue with our prayer for liberation. And the translation reads like this: I pray for the end of pain and suffering and the root of pain and suffering. And I release the energy of this prayer out to all the worlds so that we may all be liberated. And I need to hear that again, so I'm going to read it a second time. Like this: I pray for the end of pain and suffering and the root of pain and suffering. And I release the energy of this prayer out to all the worlds so that we all may be liberated. And now we'll chant our main mantra. starting with an Om. Om Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata Om Be Kanze Ma Be Kanze Raza Sumagata Soha. Teata om bekanzi bekanzi ma bekanzi razumgatsoha. Teata om 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 bekanzi ma bekanzi razumgatsoha. Like this, I pray for the end of pain and suffering and the root of pain and suffering. And I release the energy of this prayer out to all the worlds so that we all may be liberated. If you haven't added your prayers to the prayer document, go ahead and do so now. And as we invite in all of our benefactors, the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, teachers, healers, our sanghas and healing communities, our lineages, our ancestors, our teachings, the elements, the earth, silence, space, all of those who support our liberation and the liberation of all beings, we invite you to surround us, to protect us, and to respond in healing and support of these prayers. And so we pray For my niece Amanda and family as a divorce is processed. Prayers for the Palestinian culture as the IDF makes every effort to erase it. May it always be remembered, witnessed, and celebrated by Palestinians and all beings. May Palestine be free, and may Palestinian art be protected, recovered, and restored. Prayers for Carla as she navigates a particularly difficult period of spiritual labor and growth. Prayers for Margarita as she battles sepsis. May she be free of suffering, whether or not she survives. Prayers for Mercedes that she may wake up to and break her participation in cycles of family violence. Prayers that my wife may heal from trauma of childhood sexual abuse. Prayers for myself that I may emerge from this personal transition of letting go of control in a way that benefits all. Prayers that I may heal and grow, that thee may heal and grow, that we all may. Prayers for C as they navigate fear and childhood trauma. May they feel protected and supported at this time. Prayers that I can navigate this week's doctor appointment with as much ease as possible and feel more proactive and gentle about my chronic pain situation. I need a new job. My current one is suffocating and toxic. And we pray for your liberation from the toxic suffocation of the job in whatever way serves your highest being. Prayers for Susan and her health. May all her generosity and love be returned to her so she is free. Prayers for Cynthia as she continues to experience cancer and for relief from her pain. Prayers for M and their family in Gaza. Prayers for my work community as they serve local communities while carrying the weight of everything happening abroad. Prayers for me to be safe from the aggression of Ivan, that I'm protected from my own fear, from his retaliation, and from the systems that are not supporting me. Prayers for Sangha siblings, SK, NS, R, and N. Prayers for the people in Gaza and everyone experiencing systemic oppression, violence, genocide, etc. Prayers for Ivan that he feels settled, loving, and resolved in his own heart. Prayers for those in my little Sangha that they are held and cared for in their health. Prayers for my brother that he feels healed and liberated from his grief. Prayers for M that there is healing in his future. Prayers for the people, animals, plants, and land of Palestine. May their suffering end. May the occupation end. May they live forever free. Prayers for all of us who are afraid to speak out against our oppressors. May our eyes and hearts open and unite us as one. Prayers for myself that I not be discouraged by how slow knee surgery recovery seems to be. Joining with everyone's prayers for everyone in Gaza, including the aid workers and the World Central Kitchen workers who have resumed their invaluable assistance despite their recent tragedy in that region. Prayers to be able to be present to so many people who are suffering losses, near and far, and for those dealing with childhood trauma and so on, without losing energy for the daily task of life and other projects I want to work on with others. As Lama Rod says, to not be consumed by the chaos and grief. Prayers for Gaza and all the souls who have been and are being separated from their bodies. Prayers for the hardened hearts of Israel's leader. May their generational trauma move through and not distort into further violence. Prayers for my highest self, inviting them home every day. They are needed. Prayers for all the new AME ministers who are taking up their first pastoral posts this week. Prayers for my family, my extended family, as we navigate transitions. Prayers for myself as I go through some dental procedures and continue to take on the activities of moving my life and transitioning to life in Yanceyville. Prayers for this Sangha, for each of you, those you love and those who love you. Prayers for Bumi, Triangle Bumi here in the Research Triangle area of North Carolina, that we continue to do the work of liberation and of creating community and loving each other. Prayers for each of you and the communities that you serve and that serve you and that nurture and heal and support you. And we will chant the mantra a few more times, starting with Om. Om Teata Om Bekanze, Ma Bekanze, Razasumagata Soha. 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 Beata om bekanze bekanze ma bekanze vasumagat 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 soha. Yata om bekanzi bekanzi ma bekanzi vasmagat soha. Yata om bekanzi ma bekanzi vasmagat soha. Yata om bekanzi ma bekanzi vasmagat soha. Yata om bekanzi ma bekanzi vasmagat soha. Let us now turn our attention to Shanti Deva's prayer. And we recite this 3 times as a community. And what that means is I'm going to say it out loud, and you may join me. You may read it while I say it, or you may just let the words wash over you. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach unto the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all the sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach unto the ends of space. And I got lost in the prayer, so I'm going to read it again. It may be a 4th time. I've lost count. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader to those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach unto the ends of space. And I'd like to issue an invitation to anyone who feels inclined to want to lead these practices. It's a very safe risk to take. The community is so supportive and welcoming. And I'll let you in on a little secret. I always get more out of Medicine Buddha by leading the practice. And as I confessed earlier, um, it's a low demand experience because it's Medicine Buddha's practice, and he is responsible for your experience, not me. So when I show up present and open and willing, to be a vessel, and I leave the rest to Medicine Buddha. So there are often opportunities to lead. And if you sign up once and you really don't enjoy the experience, it's an hour and you've offered, you've provided a service to the community. So that's my little commercial for today. Eric, if you want to, or anybody who wants to come off mute, we have a few minutes left. If there are any, as they say in 12-step meetings, any burning desires, anyone who wants to speak something into this space, then I invite you.